148円148円68円。領収書が必要なお客様は領収書をタッチしてください。お釣りをお取りください。お釣りをお取りください。レシートをお取りください。
go to Target later, get the rug. It's like $120. Say that today. I got my shorts from H&M. My Urban Outfitters, kind of like crop tee. This is my most worn shoe of all time.